Part 48. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Depang. Chapter 475. It took Chen Ronghuo more than 100 days to refine the origin mother tree this time, which is more than 10 days when converted into normal time flow. It's like this. After successfully refining the origin mother tree, Chen Ronghuo immediately obtained complete information about the small tree from the origin mother tree. However, Chen Ronghuo was not surprised by this. He had previously identified the information of the origin mother tree, but only had a general understanding. He did not pay much attention to some things that were too detailed, so the ancient book only showed him the general information of the origin mother tree. So it was not until this time that he knew that once he used the power of the law of the small tree to explode, the cultivator who left his life mark in the small tree would not improve his cultivation in a short time when practicing in front of the small tree. Instead, it was not until the final stage of the small tree's burst of the power of the law that a great burst of strength would come sooner or later according to their respective talents. The lower the talent of the cultivator, the earlier the strength will burst, but the lower the final strength will be. On the contrary, the higher the talent of the cultivator, the later the strength will burst. But the more strength is improved. Another thing is that when the power of the law of the origin mother tree is activated, the cultivator who leaves a mark in the mother tree, if he is not near the mother tree, will be rejected even if he comes later, and cannot share this process of cultivation. In the square of Lord Chen Ronghuo's mansion, Chang Sun Zhengzin stopped sweeping the floor. He held a broom and stood beside Chen Ronghuo. His eyes fell on a strange little tree that Chen Ronghuo placed in the center of the square, and a faint red skirt figure in front of the little tree. There was a hint of incredible solemnity. At this time, the red skirt figure, after approaching the strange little tree for a few meters, suddenly turned around and smiled brightly at Chang Sun Zhengzin, and then moved his figure, rushed forward, and completely immersed in the little tree in front. Seeing this scene, Chang Sun Zhengzin's hands holding the broom immediately tightened a little. Chen Ronghuo stood not far from Chang Sun Zhengzin, closed his eyes slightly, and sensed the movement of the origin mother tree that he had refined. After a moment, he moved his mind and sensed a life mark in the small tree, and merged into it. Whoosh! Just when he had just felt it, Mo-licking soul had already rushed out of the origin mother tree, but it was obvious that her phantom at this time was a little lighter than before she entered the origin mother tree. However, Chen Ronghuo and Chang Sun Zhengzin didn't care about this. Integrating a trace of one's own life mark into the origin mother tree will definitely harm oneself, not to mention Mo-licking, who only had a soul left. Whoosh! Suddenly, when Chen Ronghuo showed a touch of relief on his face, he saw a surge in Chang Sun Zhengzin's eyebrows, and then a ray of green light burst out from his eyebrows and shot into the small tree in the distance. This is... Chen Ronghuo was stunned, but then he showed a look of sudden realization, knowing that Chang Sun Zhengzin had also left his own life mark in the origin mother tree. In this way, not only Mo-licking, but also Chang Sun Zhengzin's life can be controlled by him. Chen Ronghuo shook his head secretly, not knowing what Chang Sun Zhengzin was thinking. However, Chang Sun Zhengzin integrated a trace of his life mark into the origin mother tree, which made him change the list of candidates he had prepared in his mind. Should I exclude the Black Dragon Grand Duke or the Black Whale Ancestor? Chen Ronghuo pondered secretly. Before, he thought that 36 places were not a small number, but until he counted, he knew how many powerful combat forces his subordinates had now. Not to mention anything else, if you count his spirit pet, the subordinates he had accepted before, and the 8 8th level cultivators of the 5-sex alliance, he has almost 36 cultivators above the 8th level. Compared to the Black Dragon Grand Duke, the appearance of the black whale in its original form is more terrifying. After thinking about it, Chen Ronghuo redetermined the candidates. Notify them, call Wang Chao, Meng Tian, Zhang Ji, Zhu Daipen, Li Haishui. Thinking of this, Chen Ronghuo said to one of his guards, "Let them all come over." "Yes." A guard standing in the distance heard this and immediately retreated quickly. "And Huanglin and Ho San, we really need to bring them back as soon as possible." After the guards left, Chen Ronghuo muttered to himself. Then he sent another message to the big river crab, asking it to hurry up and practice the big and small Ruyi secret technique. When the power of the evolution law of the origin mother tree is opened, the river crab leader must find a hidden place to spend a period of peace. And if you want to spend a period of peace, the best way is naturally for the big river crab to practice the big and small Ruyi secret technique, so that you can enter and exit the river crab world freely. Roar. On this day, a loud roar suddenly sounded on the Tianyuan King Island. It was as if a giant ape was roaring to the sky. When this roar sounded, the entire Sky Ape King Island was shaken. Then, figures immediately flew up from the island and flew straight to the scene of the incident. This is the Sky Ape battle armor that the Supreme Elder refined. Is it almost successful? Everyone knew that in the past few decades, a Supreme Elder of their Sky Ape King Island, whose cultivation had reached the peak of the 9th level but whose lifespan was almost over, was refining a set of Sky Ape battle armor. With the cultivation of that Supreme Elder, who had collected countless natural treasures, the Sky Ape battle armor that was about to be refined must be extraordinary. Even the Sky Ape King had a thought, walked out of his secret room, and looked towards the place where the movement came from. Gudu. In front of a pool of exploding and boiling blood, Ho San sat in it with his eyes closed. But his body exuded an extremely strong fighting spirit. The fighting spirit vaguely condensed into a soaring air, stirring the wind and clouds above. In a thatched house a few hundred meters away from Ho San, an old man with a pale face without any redness was making seals one by one on the weapon refining furnace in front of him with a solemn expression. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this moment, figures from Tianyuan King Island suddenly fell from the sky and landed in front of the thatched house. There are dozens of these cultivators who descended from the sky. Among them, the ones with the weakest aura are all at the 8th level of cultivation. Sure enough, the Supreme Elder is going to refine this treasure. These people had extraordinary experience. As soon as they landed, they sensed the movement in the thatched house in the distance. The Supreme Elder's weapon refining strength, as well as the movement shown this time, the Sky Ape armor he refined this time, I'm afraid it can reach the 9th level of the best, right? Each cultivator has burning eyes. The Supreme Elder in their mouth has a short lifespan, so the set of Sky Ape armor refined this time will definitely be left to their descendants. What a powerful aura! But at this time, some people also cast their eyes on Ho San, who was practicing in the original blood pool in the distance. This person should be the one Ho Jun found 50 years ago, Ho San, the owner of the Heavenly Ape battle body who has the blood of my Heavenly Ape King Island, right? Someone showed a bit of surprise. He came to me before when I was on Hesia Island, his cultivation level was not yet at the 8th level. Why do I see him now as if he is about to break through to the 9th level? Hearing what this person said, everyone else also looked at Ho San. Indeed, it seems that Ho San's talent is indeed extraordinary as Ho Jun said at the time. At this time, someone suddenly said sourly, it's just that he is not from my Ape King Island after all. I don't know how loyal he is. But don't end up with a white-eyed wolf trained by our Wangdao. In particular, I heard that he was originally a subordinate of Chen Ronghuo from Hexadao, who has been in the limelight recently. Chen Ronghuo was attached to the Black Dragon territory before, but after destroying the White Tiger territory, he also destroyed the Black Dragon territory in a blink of an eye. I hope he won't learn a bit of Chen Ronghuo's master devouring attribute just because he followed Chen Ronghuo for too long. The person who spoke was a powerful second-generation member of Tianyu King Island, and his own strength was not weak either. In addition, there was a ban around the original blood pool, and Ho San inside could not hear it, so he was not afraid at all. Hear this person speak. Some echoed, Others laughed disdainfully. I knew that the purpose of this person's words was to compete with Ho-san for the heavenly ape armor refined by the Supreme Elder. All of them knew that in the past few years, Ho-san had used some tricks to make their Supreme Elder very happy. Therefore, the set of heavenly ape armor that the Supreme Elder refined this time was specially refined for Ho-san. It's just that Ho-san has only joined their Tianyuan King Island for decades, and has not made any achievements. Their Supreme Elder handed such a valuable treasure to Ho-san, which is really unconvincing to everyone. So they came here to see if they could persuade the Supreme Elder and give others a chance to obtain this valuable treasure. Roar. Suddenly, another roar sounded from the valley where they were. Only this time, the roar did not come from the thatched house in the distance, but from the original blood pool in front of the thatched house. Is this a breakthrough? This person named Ho-san actually broke through at this time. Is he trying to break through to the 9th level? In an instant, everyone's attention was focused on Ho-san in the original blood pool. But those cultivators who came to compete for the heavenly ape armor had a hint of gloom on their faces. Ho-san's breakthrough at this time, especially to the 9th level, would be really detrimental to them. Even on their Tianyuan King Island, 9th level cultivators are no longer a cabbage. Even if they were all added up, there were only a dozen or so 9th level cultivators on their Tianyuan King Island. Especially since they all know that Ho-san is not very old. With Ho-san's age, if he breaks through to the 9th level so early, one can imagine what his future path will be like. Call. In the original blood pool, Ho-san took a long breath, and then his body shook, all the blood on his body fell off, and he walked out of the original blood pool. After more than 50 years of practice, he finally reached the 9th level. In terms of cultivation, he has caught up with Ho-jun, who forcibly brought him here from Hexi Island. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 476. Ho-san's eyes flashed with excitement. For so many years, he had never known what was happening on the Crab Island. Apart from practicing every day, he would occasionally chat with the old man who guarded the place. Now that he has practiced to the 9th level, he thinks that he should have a certain strength this time and can protect the Crab Island. The philosophy he has adhered to since he was a child is that a favor is as heavy as a mountain. Huanglin picked him up from the entrance of Xiaohe village, Huang Tai's Hung, and the people of Xiaohe village raised him, and he decided to protect Xiaohe village. When Chen Ronghuo first arrived at Xiaohe village on Beiwu Island, he misunderstood Chen Ronghuo and even took the initiative to attack Chen Ronghuo. Later, the misunderstanding disappeared. Chen Ronghuo taught him the skills, helped him awaken his bloodline talent, and cultivated him to the 7th level. He remembered it deeply in his heart. These people are. Just when Ho-san was thinking about this, he walked out of the original blood pool and saw that so many people suddenly came to the valley where he stayed. He was immediately surprised and didn't know what happened. Some time ago, when he sensed that he could almost break through to the 9th level with the help of the power of the original blood pool, he opened the restriction of the original blood pool and practiced with all his heart. He had not chatted with the old man who was guarding here for a while. Seeing Ho-san step out of the original blood pool step by step, everyone immediately looked at him. Ho-san, congratulations, you have broken through to the 9th level. Suddenly, accompanied by a voice, Ho-jun, who had forcibly brought Ho-san to the Heavenly Ape King Island that day, walked out of the crowd. How about it? Do you feel now that coming here from your river crab territory was the most correct choice of your life? If you are still on the river crab island, you don't know when you will have to wait to break through to the 9th level. And Chen Ronghuo from the river crab island is a disaster and trouble, and he is not a good master. Ho-jun said with a smile. Ho-san's talent is too strong. In just more than 50 years, he has caught up with him with the help of the power of the original blood pool, which shocked him. But no matter what, it was he who brought Ho-san to the Heavenly Ape King Island. He felt that after so many years, even if Ho-san had some displeasure with him at the beginning, Ho-san, who had already cultivated to the 9th level, should have figured it out now and should thank him. Bringing disasters and troubles? Ho-san was immediately shocked when he heard this. A trace of urgency flashed in his eyes, and he asked, "You said that the Crab Island brought disasters and troubles, what's wrong with the Crab Island?" Ho-jun felt Ho-san's ups and downs and frowned. He didn't expect that more than 50 years later, Ho-san, who had cultivated to the 9th level with the help of the resources of the Heavenly Ape King Island, had not forgotten the Crab Island. He shook his head secretly, a little dissatisfied. All cultivators born on the King Island, when facing cultivators from other islands, mostly have a feeling of superiority. This is regional contempt. This kind of thing exists in many places. It is normal for cultivators born on large islands to look down on cultivators born on small islands. The same is true for Ho-jun. Even though the current Crab Island is no longer what it used to be, in his eyes, the Crab Island is still the same. The fact that the Crab Island was able to kill 2 9th level peak high-level god envoys of the Temple of Slaughter did shock him, but with the strength of their Heavenly Ape King Island, if they took action, they could definitely kill 2 9th level peak practitioners in a shorter time. Although there is nothing wrong with the Crab Island now, they have provoked an existence that should not be provoked this time. At this time, Ho-jun already knew that since Ho-san still remembered the Crab leader, he would probably not thank him for bringing him to the Heavenly Ape King Island. So he stopped being polite and said directly, "I guess it won't be long before they disappear from this world. I know that you, Ho-san, miss the old times, but I advise you to think twice before you act on this matter. Although you have now broken through to the 9th level, a 9th level cultivator can only serve as a food delivery man when facing the enemies provoked by the Crab territory. Of course, you have been in the Crab territory before, so you should know the Crab territory better than me. You should know that the 9th level cultivators in the Crab territory, including Chen Ronghuo, can't handle the things, so even if you go to help, it will be useless. Those 9th level cultivators?" One message after another came out of Ho-jun's mouth, making Ho-san confused. He really wanted to know what happened in the Crab territory even though he hadn't been back to the Crab territory for more than 50 years. Could it be that Chen Ronghuo and others have already cultivated to the 9th level? As for what Ho-jun said about the Crab territory being in crisis, Ho-san had already put aside most of his worries when he heard that the Crab Island was fine now. The Crab Island has come all the way to today, and has experienced not many crises, but definitely not a few. Ho-san believes that since the Crab leader is fine now, there will definitely be no trouble in the future. Roar. At this moment, a huge roar, like a war ape howling to the sky, suddenly came from the thatched hut not far away. Is it done? Hearing this roar, the scene suddenly became quiet, and everyone turned their heads to look at the thatched hut. At this time, everyone could feel the unique pressure of the powerful secret treasure when it was born emanating from the direction of the thatched hut. In an instant, many people's eyes showed a burning color. A set of top-grade 9th level battle armor is already worthy of the entire Tianyuan King Island, except for the Tianyuan King. Whoosh! But at this moment, Ho-san, who had just broken through to the 9th level and had just come out of retreat, suddenly moved, like a black lightning, and arrived in front of the thatched house in the blink of an eye, and rushed in directly. You! As soon as he rushed into the thatched house, Ho-san saw an old man inside, holding a black battle armor and spitting blood on it. As the blood was spit on it and seeped in, the light of the battle armor suddenly shrank, but it gave people a feeling that the breath was increased by a lot compared to before. But after spitting out this mouthful of blood, the face of the old man holding the battle armor suddenly became much older. Boy! The old man smiled and said, "You are the owner of the most talented Tianyuan battle body I have ever seen. My lifespan has ended. Today, I have spent all my efforts to refine the last set of battle armor in the last few decades and give it to you. I hope you don't disgrace the set of battle armor. He has no children or disciples, and some of his early friends have left this world before him. It was only in the last few decades of his life that he met Hosan and saw Hosan's talent. At the same time, he got along well with Hosan, so he spent his last life to refine the set of armor and planned to give it to Hosan. He worked hard to cultivate all his life and lived more years than the Sky Ape King, but in the end he was stuck at the peak of the 9th level and could not make any further progress. Although he has 10 qualifications, having 10 points of qualifications only means that there is a chance to cultivate to the 10th level, or to cultivate to become a god, but it does not mean that he can definitely reach that level. Also, work hard to cultivate and must break through to the 10th level. After the words fell, the old man stuffed the armor in his hand into Hosan's hand, as if passing his obsession to Hosan. And then, he closed his eyes, and there was no breath flowing on his body. Hosan held this set of black armor in his hand and was stunned for a while. In the past few decades, although he had been getting along well with the old man in front of him, he had never thought that the old man would actually consume his already limited lifespan to refine such a set of armor for him. He showed a bitter smile on his face. He hated to owe favors to others the most in his life, but this time, he owed a big favor without knowing it. The old man was already dead, what else could he do in the future? Perhaps he could only wait and see if there was anything that needed his help on the Sky Ape King Island. Hosan, the Sky Ape armor in your hand is the relic of the Supreme Elder. He refined it at the last moment of his life. You take the armor and go with us to give it to the island owner. Suddenly, someone in the crowd shouted. Hosan was startled, and immediately understood that someone was trying to steal the armor in his hand. In an instant, his face showed anger. After all, he didn't believe that the words that the old man gave him the set of armor before he closed his eyes just now would not be heard by the people around him with their strength. Thinking of this, his face became even more gloomy. In fact, he didn't take secret treasures too seriously. Especially since he had been improving his cultivation too quickly, maybe he had only obtained a powerful secret treasure for a while, and then he broke through the realm, and the original secret treasure was no longer useful. So on the Crab Island, neither he nor others pursued secret treasures. Secret treasures are mostly things that cultivators who know their own cultivation and cannot make a big breakthrough in a short time will think about. But now, Hosan is unwilling to give up what he has in his hands. This is a secret treasure that the old man made for him and gave to him at the cost of his remaining life. How can he give it up? Thinking of this, Hosan asked on the spot, the Supreme Elder just died, and you are acting like this. An ungrateful wolf, it is indeed an ungrateful wolf that can never be tamed. In the crowd, a young man gritted his teeth in his heart, and then shouted, the death of the Supreme Elder is a big deal, and we are also sad for the Supreme Elder. But how to deal with the secret treasure that the Great Elder refined before his death is also a big deal. It is better for the territory to decide on this matter. Hosan, the Supreme Elder has just given you this treasure, and now I ask you to hand it over to the territory for decision, but you are unwilling. But how long have you joined the Heavenly Ape King Island? During the time you joined the King Island, in addition to borrowing the original blood pool to practice and breaking through to the 9th level, have you made any contribution to the King Island? If you have not made any contribution to the King Island, and you still want to take this treasure, don't you feel ashamed? The young man's words were so heartbreaking that even Hosan was stunned. Just when the Sky Ape King Island was in a state of chaos, a figure suddenly appeared outside the Sky Ape King Island. It's been so long, it's time to bring Hosan back. Thanks to the all-round magician at the peak of the Mahayana stage for a 5,000 coin reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 477. In the center of the Sky Ape King Island, there stands a towering tower. Tower-shaped buildings are almost a must-build for some powerful forces in the God's continent. At the tip of the towering tower on the Sky Ape King Island, a purple-black bead is suspended above the top of the tower, rotating quietly. This purple-black bead is a secret treasure that can identify the cultivation level of practitioners, called the Heavenjian bead. And its level is as high as the 9th level top grade. This treasure has no other abilities, only the ability to identify cultivation. With the ability of this secret treasure, as long as there is a cultivator above the 8th level, who is too close to the Sky Ape King Island, this secret treasure will react and warn the person. Every profession has its own specialty. Even a demigod-level strongman who is good at hiding will most likely find it difficult to escape the perception of this secret treasure. If the person does not listen to the warning and gets too close, the island protection formation of the Sky Ape King Island will be activated immediately. After Chen Ronghuo arrived near the Heavenly Ape King Island, he glanced at the purple-black bead on the high tower in the distance, then slowed down and flew slowly towards the Heavenly Ape King Island. This Jiantian bead is effective for other people, but it has no effect on him. He has the ability of his left hand, and he can completely find out his cultivation. And this is a slightly complicated method. Because he came here only because of his substitute stone embryo, even if he does not use his left hand ability, he can transfer his cultivation to his body at any time, and then transfer it back when needed. In both cases, he can become a cultivator below the 8th level, and naturally will not cause the Jiantian bead to react. The Heavenly Ape King Island, like the White Tiger Island and Black Dragon Island he had seen before, is located in the center of a large group of outer islands. Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation. Chen Ronghuo entered the Heavenly Ape Islands like a tourist. He swept his eyes over the islands outside the Heavenly Ape King Island, and knew that these islands were one of the formation bases of the Heavenly Ape King Island's Island Protection Formation, the Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation. The Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation could be used as the Island Protection Formation by the Heavenly Ape King Island, so you can imagine how powerful it is. Once this formation is activated, it will be earth-shaking. If it is just a demigod-level strongman, don't even think about breaking in. According to Chen Ronghuo's estimation, his strength is about the same as that of a demigod-level strongman at this time. I still can't go out. Chen Ronghuo came to an island leisurely. As one of the 10 king islands in the North Sea, the Heavenly Ape King Island, almost all of its outer islands are trading centers. Every day, practitioners from all directions come here to trade with practitioners from the Heavenly Ape Islands. So when Chen Ronghuo transferred his cultivation, his arrival did not attract the attention of others at all. Dalian Island, the island that Chen Ronghuo chose, is located at the outermost edge of the Heavenly Ape Islands, an island called Dalian Island. After arriving on the island, Chen Ronghuo wandered around and soon determined the location of a formation base of the Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation on this Daliwang Island. It's a bit difficult to deal with. Chen Ronghuo touched his chin and frowned. Because the formation base of the Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation on this island was, as expected, heavily guarded. The main guard was actually an 8th level cultivator. For Chen Ronghuo now, an 8th level cultivator is naturally nothing, but he cannot reveal his cultivation. If he dares to reveal his cultivation at this time, the Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation will be activated immediately and trap him inside. Then he will really be subdued by the demon. It seems that this is the only way. After taking a breath, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved, and through the origin mother tree he had refined not long ago, he began to communicate with the black whale ancestor who had already integrated his natal mark into it. He could directly communicate with those cultivators who had integrated their own natal marks into the origin mother tree through the origin mother tree, which was also a small ability he gained after refining the mother tree. More than 2,000 miles away, The black whale ancestor, who was soaking in the sea, got the news from Chen Ronghuo, and his face changed immediately. Too crazy. If there is anything, can't we discuss it together? Why do we have to make such a big fuss? The black whale ancestor smiled bitterly, but had to follow Chen Ronghuo's instructions and quickly rushed to the direction of the Sky Ape King Island. After he integrated his natal mark into the origin mother tree, Chen Ronghuo had withdrawn the 33 days soul calming secret technique from his soul sea. The ancient book's appraisal was that if the origin mother tree did not die, the cultivators who integrated their natal marks into the origin mother tree would not die either, which was indeed true. But the basis of this fact was that Chen Ronghuo did not use the power of the origin mother tree to break the natal marks of those who integrated their natal marks into the origin mother tree. So in fact, the life of the Black Whale Patriarch is still in the hands of Chen Ronghuo. Sky Ape King Island. Ho Ningqi is right. After the young man finished speaking, Ho Jun, who had walked out earlier, stood up again and said to Ho San, "Ho San, you have just entered the 9th level, and you are using a 9th level top grade battle armor. It's a bit too wasteful. I believe you also know that with your realm, you can't exert the power of this secret treasure at all, right? Especially now that the situation is not good, the secret treasure refined by the Supreme Elder should be given to a stronger person, because only in this way can the strength of our Heavenly Ape King Island be enhanced to the greatest extent. It's just that the Supreme Elder's lifespan was approaching, and he might be a little confused, so he made this choice." Ho San's face was extremely ugly. He never thought that these people in front of him were so shameless. Now the Supreme Elder who gave him the treasure is still alive, and these people actually want to take this armor from him. It's really chilling. Before, he was thinking about repaying the Heavenly Ape King Island in the future, but now. In fact, Ho San didn't know that if the Supreme Elder who gave him the treasure had not died, Ho Jun and others would naturally not dare to do so. Even if it was the other two Supreme Elders on the island, Ho Jun and others would not dare to do so. It's just that the Supreme Elder who gave him the treasure was too unpopular on the island and had almost no relatives and friends, so after his death, Ho Jun and others would tacitly want to take this top-grade 9th level secret treasure from Ho San. A top-grade 9th level secret treasure can even enhance the strength of a 9th level peak powerhouse by a large margin. It can be said that no one is not tempted. Ho Ningqi. At this time, Ho San glanced at the young man who spoke before. More than 50 years ago, as soon as he came to Tianyuan King Island, he came to this valley, and then he has been in seclusion in the original blood pool until now, so he doesn't know many people on Tianyuan King Island. He stared at Ho Ningqi, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. I just broke through to the 9th level, but even if the secret treasure is used by others, it should not be used by an 8th level cultivator, right? Seeing Ho San's eyes fall on Ho Ningqi, Ho Jun smiled faintly, of course. But even if Ho Ningqi fights for this treasure, I think it is for his father. His father, Ho Tong, is the 3rd commander of my Tianyuan King Island and a 9th level late-stage cultivator. With the strength of Commander Ho Tong, it is still very appropriate to use the secret treasure. Speaking of this, Ho Jun paused for a moment, and then continued earnestly, Ho San, we have trained you on Tianyuan King Island, you should not be ignorant of the general situation, right? The situation in the North Sea is complicated now. With the strength of Commander Ho Tong, if he gets the secret treasure, his strength will surely increase greatly, and let Tianyuan King Island have more self-protection power in the North Sea. Of course, I also know that this treasure was given to you by the Supreme Elder, and it is really not good for us to take it. It's just a special case for special treatment. I believe that even if the island owner really decides to give this treasure to someone else in the end, the island owner will definitely compensate you. Ho Jun's words were so perfect that Ho San couldn't vent his anger even if he had it. Until this moment, he once again felt that he was alone and powerless. With his background, he could not be integrated into the system of the Heavenly Ape King Island. A 9th level cultivator like him was naturally very strong. In the past, some factions of the Heavenly Ape King Island would definitely get closer to Hosan. But in the current situation, with external enemies all around, everyone hopes to do everything possible to strengthen their strength. If you want to strengthen your strength, you need to compete for resources. And with Hosan's qualifications, in the eyes of those strong men on the Heavenly Ape King Island, he is just a hungry dog rushing into a wolf pack, and he might bite them at any time, so they are unwilling to get too close to Hosan. Swoosh! Suddenly, at this moment, a figure flew over, carrying an extremely strong pressure, and fell into the valley. As this figure fell into the valley suddenly became quiet. Meet the Ape King. Everyone spoke in unison. The person who came was the absolute controller of Xuanhuan Island, Xuanhuan. Most of the practitioners inside Xuanhuan Island called Xuanhuan the Ape King instead of the Lord. Yes. The Xuanhuan nodded lightly, then set his eyes on the dead old man in the distance, and said, "The death of the soul of the third Supreme Elder is a great loss to Xuanhuan Island, but the situation in the North Sea is complicated now, so it is not suitable to spread it. You remember to keep your mouth shut about what happened today. In addition, remember to arrange immediately to bury the third Supreme Elder in the Merit Hall of Xuanhuanling as soon as possible, and the whole island will worship him. The third Supreme Elder has made great contributions to Xuanhuan Island. How can he be exposed outside for a long time?" After hearing what Xuanhuan said, everyone was shocked and quickly agreed. Finally, at this time, the Sky Ape King finally set his sights on Hosan. Hosan was able to break through from the 7th level to the 9th level in more than 50 years. His talent is extremely strong, so he is also very optimistic about Hosan. But although Hosan has a strong talent, his current strength is still a little weak. However, Ho Tong, the father of Ho Ningqi, who was proposed by Ho Jun before, is different. Ho Tong is a very obedient general under his command. With the current situation in Bihai, if a major change really happens, there may not be enough time for Hosan to grow up, but Ho Tong can become a major force under his command. And Hosan's background is not clean, and he has something to do with Hexi Island. He may not be very loyal to himself. After thinking about it in his heart, the Sky Ape King said, "As for the armor left by the third Supreme Elder, it is indeed as Ho Jun said just now, it is more suitable for Ho Tong to use. Of course, this armor was left to you by the third Supreme Elder, Ho San, so I decided. Hexi Island Black Whale, under the order of my lord, has something to discuss with the Sky Ape King." But at this moment, when the Sky Ape King was halfway through his words, a loud shout suddenly sounded outside the Sky Ape Islands. Along with this shout, the water outside the Sky Ape Islands was glittering, and the Sky Ape Islands Island Protection Formation was opened with a bang. Thanks to Laughing at Life calmly for another 2,000 coins reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Pang. Chapter 478. Black Whale Ancestor. Why did he come to our Heavenly Ape King Island? On the orders of the Lord of the Crab Island. What did Chen Ronghuo of the Crab Island do to him to make him so obedient? This Black Whale Ancestor is a 9th level cultivator anyway. Hearing the Black Whale Ancestor's shout, the people of the Heavenly Ape King Island immediately started to talk. Even the Heavenly Ape King showed a bit of surprise. Not long ago, he had discussed with Shi Wuxin and others from the ancient Corpse King Island how to deal with Chen Ronghuo, but he didn't expect that the Crab Island would send people to their Heavenly Ape King Island. The Heavenly Ape King pondered in his heart, wondering why the Crab Island came here. Not far away, Ho San's eyes suddenly lit up after hearing the people from the Crab Island. Although he didn't know who the Black Whale Ancestor was, he had a better impression of the Black Whale Ancestor because the Black Whale Ancestor said that he was from the Crab Island. The Sky Ape King's eyes swept over Ho San. When he saw the excitement flashing in Hosan's eyes, his face immediately darkened. He felt that his decision to take back the Sky Ape armor from Hosan and give it to his general Yuan Tongyang was indeed correct. "Why did your island master ask you to come here?" the Sky Ape King asked in a deep voice. The black whale ancestor stirred the sea water, making a loud rumbling sound, and shouted, "More than 50 years ago, your subordinates took away my river crab leader Ho. This time I came here on the order of my lord to bring back the commander Ho." Hearing what the black whale ancestor said, the Sky Ape King's face immediately flashed with anger. In countless years, few people dared to talk to him like this. Especially the one who talked to him was the black whale ancestor. As a mid-level 9th level cultivator, the black whale ancestor was also a celebrity in the North Sea. But in the eyes of a demigod-level strongman like the Sky Ape King, if he wanted to, he could kill the black whale ancestor in a few moves. The Sky Ape King snorted coldly and said, "Hosan has the blood of my Sky Ape King Island flowing in his body, and he has the Sky Ape battle body. He is a person of my Sky Ape King Island. If you, the River Crab territory, really want to take Hosan away, then let Chen Ronghuo come here in person. You are so bold that you dare to call our lord by his name." The voice of the black whale ancestor rolled over. "Noisy. You are looking for death." The Sky Ape King was furious and almost couldn't help flying out of the Sky Ape King Island and killing the black whale ancestor on the spot. He is a demigod, but he can't even call a person's name? Hosan, who was not far away, was originally very excited, but when he heard the black whale ancestor's imposing words, he suddenly felt puzzled. Based on Hosan's understanding of Chen Ronghuo, if Chen Ronghuo really wanted to rescue him back to the River Crab Island, he would never send such a black whale ancestor, whose words were like a cannonball, alone. On the Dolly Ape Island outside the Sky Ape King Island, after the black whale ancestor appeared, Chen Ronghuo immediately began to transfer the power that had been transferred to his body back to the substitute stone embryo through the special connection between the substitute stone embryo and his original body. The Jiantian Pearl on the high tower of the Sky Ape King Island can sense the cultivators above the 8th level when they come near the Sky Ape Islands, and thus give the visitor a warning. If the visitor does not listen to the warning and continues to approach the Sky Ape Islands, the island protection formation of the Sky Ape Islands will be quickly activated to block the visitor outside. But Chen Ronghuo knew through identification that the Jiantian Pearl did not have the ability to determine the specific location of the enemy. On the Sky Ape King Island, the Sky Ape King's eyes flashed fiercely, looking at the black whale ancestor outside the Sky Ape Islands from afar, with murderous intent bursting out. He wanted to rush out of the Sky Ape King Island and kill the black whale ancestor on the spot. In this world, there is no saying that two countries will not kill the envoys when they are fighting. But just as he was about to act, he suddenly saw the Jiantian Pearl on the Sky Ape King Island tremble and emit a ray of light. Anyone else? The Sky Ape King's heart moved and he stopped. 8th stage late stage, 8th stage peak, half step to 9th stage, 9th stage, the Sky Ape King stopped and saw the color of the light emitted from the Jiantian Pearl. His pupils shrank and he showed an incredible look. The Jiantian Pearl can identify the strength of the enemy. However, this identification is done directly at once, not from low to high, bit by bit. Therefore, after seeing that the Jiantian Pearl identified the cultivation level of the new enemy, which started from the 8th stage late stage and gradually climbed, even the knowledgeable Sky Ape King did not dare to act rashly. Is this an ambush? The river crab leader sent the black whale patriarch here to talk to me like this. Is he trying to lure me out of the Sky Ape King Island? This person's cultivation level is so high that even the heavenly mirror bead can't sense it clearly, and there is an error. I'm afraid he is stronger than me. Could it be that the person who came is the leader Chen Ronghuo of the River Crab Island? Does Chen Ronghuo have such strength? The Sky Ape King took a deep breath and felt a little scared. He is a demigod, yes. But demigods are not invincible, which does not mean they are not afraid of death. The White Dragon King who died not long ago is an example. The Sky Ape King does not want to be careless and be calculated by others, and end up like the White Dragon King. I don't know where this hidden person is hiding. The Sky Ape King set his eyes far away near the Black Whale Patriarch outside the Black Dragon Islands, trying to find the ambush person, but found that he could not find any trace at all. As expected, he is very strong, especially good at hiding his traces. The Sky Ape King narrowed his eyes. On the Great Ape Island on the edge of the Sky Ape Islands, Chen Ronghuo quietly raised his cultivation level to the 9th level with the help of the Black Whale Ancestor's appearance. Then he covered himself with a layer of soul power. His body flashed and turned into a stream of light. In a few flashes, he quickly arrived at one of the Celestial Ape Demon Suppressing Array hidden on the Great Ape Island. The base of the formation is located. Guarding this formation are 2 7th level cultivators, plus an 8th level cultivator. After Chen Ronghuo entered, the 2 7th level cultivators did not react, but the 8th level cultivator suddenly showed a look of shock and was about to shout. But before this 8th level cultivator even uttered a word, Chen Ronghuo had already made a thought, controlled the ancient book, and used all his strength to seal all the strength of the 3 people. Now that he is a 9th level cultivator, it is not too simple to use the power of ancient books to seal an 8th level cultivator, plus the power of 2 7th level cultivators. Snap! 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 After sealing the power of the 3 people in the market, Chen Ronghuo accelerated suddenly and arrived in front of the 3 people. He used the technique of returning the demon soul to one, branded it on the eyebrows of the 3 people, and gave each of them a palm. As soon as the 3 palms were released, the souls of all 3 people were shaken away, and they died on the spot. However, there is a strange force flowing in Chen Ronghuo's palm, which locks the souls of the 3 people who are about to be completely dispersed. It can keep them alive for a while and prevent them from dying immediately. They are guarded by the Soul Lantern on the Ape King Island. People noticed. As soon as the 3 of them died, Chen Ronghuo climbed onto an altar that the 3 of them were guarding. This altar is one of the dozens of formation bases of the Sky Ape Subduing Demon Array. There are countless secret patterns on it, faintly deep in the center of the altar, and it seems to be locked in the void of a huge divine ape. Like a shadow. One of the 36 formation bases of the Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Array, it forms part of the Heavenly Ape Demon Conquering Array. After destruction, a crack will immediately appear in the Heavenly Ape Demon Conquering Array. Chen Ronghuo knew that time was limited and did not dare to hesitate. He immediately stretched out his left hand to lengthen it, pressed it on the altar below, and began to extract attributes from it. He knew that if he didn't break the Sky Ape Demon Suppressing formation, if something unexpected happened later, he would be caught in a trap. Therefore, destroying the Tianyuan Demon Subduing formation is his top priority now. Another point is that he can destroy this formation base, but he cannot be discovered. For the average person, it takes a few steps to achieve this. But for Chen Ronghuo, it can be done through the power of his left hand. Power of the Sky Ape add 1. Power of the Sky Ape add 1. Chen Ronghuo took out the attributes one by one from the altar, but after taking out these attributes, he immediately returned it again just like he had touched the artifact Bell of Fear in the Demon Sealing Land. In this way, the already activated Heavenly Ape Demon Suppressing formation can always remain intact. It's done. Finally, after touching with his left hand for a while, Chen Ronghuo took out all the power of the Heavenly Ape locked in the altar. Of course, in order not to attract anyone's attention, although he had already wiped out all the power of the Heavenly Ape from this altar, he returned all the attributes without attracting anyone's attention. Come out. On the Sky Ape King Island, the Sky Ape King suddenly spoke calmly. I've discovered you, do I still want to hide you? Being stared at by a person hiding in the dark, even with the strength of the Sky Ape King, he felt a little frightened. So he decided to use deception on the hidden people to trick them out. Has the Lord been discovered? Outside the Tianyuan Islands, the majestic black whale ancestor who stirred up the sea water stiffened. What he was most worried about now was that Chen Ronghuo, who had sneaked into Tianyuan King Island, was discovered by Tianyuan King. But now that the Ape King said this, he subconsciously thought that Chen Ronghuo had been discovered by the Ape King. This made him anxious, worried that something might happen to Chen Ronghuo. I don't know what to do. This is the territory of the Sky Ape King Island, and he might not be able to do anything by himself. Thinking of this, the aura on the black whale ancestor's body involuntarily weakened, and even the boundless sea water he stimulated slowed down slightly. There is indeed an ambush. All the changes in the black whale ancestor suddenly fell into the eyes of the Sky Ape King. And this made him even more determined. Force yourself this time, no matter what happens, you will not leave the island of the Ape King and stay here. There is a large formation protecting the island on the Sky Ape King Island. In addition, he can burn the power of faith nearby and exert stronger strength. The Sky Ape King is confident that this time there will be 2 semi-god level strong men attacking. He should also have enough time to support the rescue of those who formed an alliance with him before. Why, are you still taking chances? The Sky Ape King straightened his body and spoke again, looking extremely confident. I have contacted the other King Islands through the talisman. All our King Islands in the North Sea have formed an alliance. It won't take long for the other King Islands to join the alliance. People will arrive. Facing the unknown, everyone will have a little fear in their hearts. Even the Sky Ape King is like this when facing hidden enemies. After the Heavenly Ape King finished speaking, everyone near him opened their eyes wide and looked around. The changes in Jianji Pearl also attracted their attention. But they looked around but couldn't find any clues. So they could only sigh in their hearts that their lord was so powerful. He was able to pull out the enemies who were hiding so deeply. Whoosh! At this moment, the second light emitted from the Jiantian Pearl suddenly shrank and disappeared abruptly. This scene was captured by the Sky Ape King as soon as it happened. Is he gone? He secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The second light of the Jiantian Pearl dissipated. Most likely the person hiding in the dark had left because he saw that the situation was irresistible. Finally done, it really scared the old whale to death. At the same time, outside the Sky Ape Islands, the black whale finally received the message from Chen Ronghuo asking him to leave. He did not dare to hesitate, and immediately bowed to the whale's tail and quickly left in the sea. Just before leaving, he snorted coldly, "Humph, Sky Ape King, you are lucky this time. If I were you, I would release Commander Ho immediately. Otherwise, it won't take long for all the generals of the Crab territory to come and capture your Sky Ape King Island." How shameless! The Sky Ape King looked cold. However, when he saw the black whale ancestor leaving, he didn't dare to chase him. Lord, how could the color of the light emitted by the Jiantian Pearl change so many times in a short period of time? What is the cultivation level of the person hiding in the dark? Also, is that person Chen Ronghuo from the Crab territory? After the black whale ancestor left, someone immediately asked the Sky Ape King. The Sky Ape King said calmly, "Don't worry, that person's cultivation is the same as mine, at most he is a demigod. And you don't have to be afraid of him. Not to mention that he has completely left. Even if he didn't leave, this is our Sky Ape King Island, what can he do? Ho-san is here, can he still take Ho-san away in front of me?" As he spoke, the Sky Ape King turned his head and looked at Ho-san not far away, with a cold light flashing in the depths of his eyes. At the beginning, he asked people to bring Ho-san back because Ho-san had a Sky Ape battle body. Once he was trained, he could be his right-hand man. But after Ho-san came to their Sky Ape King Island, he consumed a lot of resources, but not only did he not contribute anything, but he almost caused him a big trouble, putting him in crisis. His eyes fell on Ho-san, and a little bit of dissatisfaction appeared in his heart. Ho-san also noticed the Sky Ape King's gaze. He sighed in his heart, knowing that his future life would be even more difficult. What on earth is the Lord doing? This scene that happened today made him shake his head. He didn't know what Chen Ronghuo was doing and when he could bring him back to Hexi territory. As for him going back by himself, he looked around and knew that this was probably impossible. After today, he would most likely be placed under house arrest on Tianyuan King Island. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 479. Swoosh. After Chen Ronghuo transferred part of his cultivation back to his original body through the special connection between his substitute and original body, he immediately hid his body, changed direction, and flew straight to another island more than 100 miles away from the Heavenly Ape King Island. Even though his cultivation was only about the 8th level, his speed was still incredibly fast. It didn't take long for him to reach his destination. After arriving at the island, Chen Ronghuo pointed his finger and summoned a ray of gray light from his soul sea, causing it to fall near the island. This ray of gray light was the disaster clone he had used once before. Then he paused on the island for a while, then flashed his body, hid his body, and came to the Heavenly Ape King Island. Heavenly Ape King Island. After sensing that the black whale ancestor had left, the Heavenly Ape King made some arrangements for his subordinates, and finally set his sights on Ho-san. He originally had some opinions about Ho-san. This time, the arrival of the black whale ancestor has made him have a deeper opinion of Ho-san. His gaze paused on Ho-san for a few seconds, and the Sky Ape King said, "I will decide who will eventually own the Sky Ape armor refined by the Third Supreme Elder. Now you should give it to me first. The Lord of a territory is the core of a territory. Not to mention that the Sky Ape King is a strong man who can be ranked in the top 10 in the entire North Sea. His words are always true." Ho-san's breathing was a little hurried. He was unwilling. But he also knew that he could only bow his head under the eaves. In addition, at this time, the Sky Ape King continued, "You have just broken through to the 9th level. Next, you need to stabilize your cultivation as soon as possible. For the time being, go with the second Supreme Elder to sit in the Sky Ape secret realm of my Sky Ape King Island. The Sky Ape secret realm is of great help to your cultivation. This is also my compensation for not giving you the Sky Ape armor." The Sky Ape King's words are not false. Usually, people from the Heavenly Ape King Island need to apply for and make great contributions to the Heavenly Ape King Island if they want to practice in the Heavenly Ape secret realm. So it is completely reasonable for him to arrange Ho-san to the Heavenly Ape secret realm. But he arranged it this way, but he also had another idea, that is, to put Ho-san under house arrest. This time, the arrival of the Black Whale Patriarch made him feel that Ho-san was a time bomb in the Heavenly Ape King Island. So he arranged it this way. The second Supreme Elder who is now in charge of the Heavenly Ape secret realm is a 9th level peak cultivator. With the second Supreme Elder in charge, he believes that even if Ho-san really has some ideas, he can be fearless. The Lord actually arranged Ho-san to practice in the Heavenly Ape secret realm. The compensation is too heavy. That's right. After Ho-san joined our Heavenly Ape King Island, he didn't make any contributions and caused so much trouble. Why did the Lord give him so many benefits? Hearing the arrangement of the Heavenly Ape King, everyone was secretly discussing it. They all felt that the Heavenly Ape King was too good to Ho-san. But in the crowd, Ho-san held the black armor in his hand, his face was uncertain. Sitting in the Heavenly Ape secret realm with the second Supreme Elder, is it really to put me under house arrest? He is very clear-minded. Even if he doesn't know the specific arrangements of the Heavenly Ape King, he can deduce some of the Heavenly Ape King's plans from the Heavenly Ape King's words. It seems that it will be really difficult to return to the Crab Island in the future. Ho-san's face showed a trace of bitterness. What? Suddenly, seeing Ho-san didn't speak, The Heavenly Ape King raised his eyebrows and faintly revealed his powerful majesty. You don't agree? I dare not. Ho-san shook his head. Then give me the Heavenly Ape armor, and then go to the Heavenly Ape secret realm as soon as possible. The teleportation array at the end of this valley is the teleportation array that leads directly to the Heavenly Ape secret realm. At the same time, Chen Ronghuo has arrived at the Heavenly Ape King Island. It's really worthy of being the Heavenly Ape King Island. Chen Ronghuo deduced the best route to find Ho-san through the ancient book while gradually going deeper into the Heavenly Ape King Island. But even if he had the ancient book in his hand and even if he had many means, facing the large number of guards and many formations and restrictions of the Heavenly Ape King Island, he still felt extremely difficult and his speed of travel was extremely slow. But after stumbling all the way, he still came to the entrance of the valley where the blood pool of the Heavenly Ape King Island was located. Because the third Supreme Elder of the Heavenly Ape King Island with a strange temperament was originally in charge here, there was no one else guarding it. As for the formation restrictions, because there were too many people coming today, the formation restrictions here were all closed. It's a bit difficult to deal with. From a distance, Chen Ronghuo heard the Heavenly Ape King's instructions to Ho-san. He shook his head and transferred some of his cultivation to his body. After only less than the 5th level of cultivation was left, he walked into the valley without hiding, swaggering. Before coming here, he had not thought that Ho-san would be with the Heavenly Ape King at this time. Facing the Heavenly Ape King, a serious demigod-level strongman, even Chen Ronghuo felt a huge pressure. What's more, this is the territory of the Heavenly Ape King Island. As one of the 10 great kings of the North Sea, once the power of faith is burned, the strength is absolutely terrifying. But he knew that he had to act as soon as possible. Otherwise, a few steps later, when Ho-san entered the Heavenly Ape secret realm of the Heavenly Ape King Island according to the instructions of the Heavenly Ape King, it would be more than 10 times more difficult for him to bring Ho-san back to the Crab Island. Chen Ronghuo walked with a sound, which seemed a little hurried. But even without making a sound, the strength of these people in the valley would have allowed them to immediately detect his arrival. As for hiding his body, there was no need for that. With the Heavenly Ape King here, Chen Ronghuo felt that if he hid his body, he would be discovered earlier. Whose disciple is this? Why is he so tactless to come here at this time? Seeing Chen Ronghuo, some people frowned. Because they didn't know Chen Ronghuo, many people thought Chen Ronghuo was someone else's disciple. They thought Chen Ronghuo was here to find his master. At this time, Chen Ronghuo certainly changed his appearance. However, he did not use secret techniques to change his appearance, but only controlled the muscles on his face and changed it slightly. Such a change would not attract attention. Even the Heavenly Ape King could not see the flaws without looking carefully. After turning his head and glancing at Chen Ronghuo, the Heavenly Ape King had the same idea in his mind, and thought Chen Ronghuo was a disciple of someone under him. The Heavenly Ape King Island was too big. The Sky Ape King naturally knew all of his core subordinates. However, the Sky Ape King naturally had no time to pay attention to those who were not very advanced in cultivation and low-level practitioners who had little presence on weekdays. Seeing Chen Ronghuo swaggering towards here from the valley entrance, the Sky Ape King swept his eyes over all his subordinates in the field with pressure, wanting to see who Chen Ronghuo was recruited as a disciple, and why he was so ignorant of the rules. And planned to lecture him later. A cultivator who was less than the 5th level, who didn't know his identity, dared to ignore himself and others and swagger here? As for Chen Ronghuo coming here from outside the Sky Ape King Island, he didn't even think about it. With the Jiantian Zhu and the Sky Ape subduing demon formation, even a demigod-level strongman would not be able to break into the Sky Ape King Island. He was extremely confident about this. But at this time, Ho-san, who had originally planned to hand over the Sky Ape armor in his hand to the Sky Ape King and then go to the Sky Ape secret realm, had his pupils shrink and revealed an incredible look after seeing Chen Ronghuo. Fortunately, he had been trained to be quite calm over the years, so he did not scream out. But even so, his body trembled. Dongyun? Why is Dongyun here? Ho-san was shocked. No, this is not Dongyun. It's the Lord. It's the Lord who changed into Dongyun's appearance. Ho-san never thought that Chen Ronghuo would come here. Chen Ronghuo changed his appearance, but only partially. And after a slight change, he happened to look a bit like Ho-san's former subordinates. So Ho-san was only startled and recognized Chen Ronghuo. Ho-san knew what Chen Ronghuo was doing here without thinking. He clenched his fists, and his eyes showed a touch of emotion. But at the same time, he was also extremely nervous. Because of the appearance of the black whale ancestor just now, the Sky Ape King had not yet ordered the closure of the Sky Ape subduing demon formation in order to prevent accidents. Moreover, the Sky Ape King, one of the 10 demigod-level strongmen in the North Sea, was right beside him at this time. He didn't know what means Chen Ronghuo would use to take him away from the Sky Ape King and escape from the Sky Ape subduing demon formation. Whose disciple are you? At this moment, Ho Jun in the crowd suddenly stood up and scolded Chen Ronghuo. Just after being swept by the Sky Ape King's eyes, he already knew that Chen Ronghuo had walked into the sex-forbidden area without prior notice and without knowing the hierarchy, which had caused the dissatisfaction of the Sky Ape King. He knew that the Sky Ape King probably saved face for one of his subordinates, so he didn't scold directly. But after the Sky Ape King's eyes swept over, no one in the field came out to claim Chen Ronghuo, which immediately made him feel a chill in his heart, knowing that the Sky Ape King would probably be furious and implicate everyone else. So he stood up. As a 9th-level cultivator, no matter whose disciple Chen Ronghuo was, he had the confidence and the qualifications to scold him. At this time, Chen Ronghuo had already arrived in front of a group of people. He heard Ho Jun's scolding, glanced at Ho Jun, and shook his head. When Ho Jun took Ho San away from Hexi Island, Ho Jun, as a 9th-level cultivator, was extremely powerful in his eyes. But now, with his strength, he can solve Ho Jun in a few moves. Seeing Chen Ronghuo's expression, Ho Jun was furious. Chen Ronghuo, a cultivator who was less than 5th level, dared to show such a disrespectful expression when facing him. He was simply very brave. Boom! Suddenly, just when Ho Jun was about to get angry, on an island more than 100 miles away from Xuanhuan Island, the wind and clouds suddenly gathered, forming a huge grey monster with 9 heads and thousands of arms. This monster, without feet or tail, was several thousand meters long. It opened its mouth and roared, spewing countless grey air currents toward the surrounding islands. Buzz! Buzz! At the same time, the Jiantianzhu on the high tower of the Sky Ape King Island also vibrated continuously, emitting a light that kept changing colors. The color of the light at the end clearly showed that a late 9th order cultivator was approaching the Sky Ape King Island. What's going on? The Sky Ape King's face changed drastically. He turned his head, his eyes like lightning, and looked at the disaster clone created by Chen Ronghuo more than 100 miles away. When the disaster clone appeared, the Jiantianzhu also emitted light, making him subconsciously think that the disaster clone created by Chen Ronghuo had the cultivation level of the late 9th order. If this is true, it will be a huge blow to him. Because it means that someone can hide from the defense system of the Heavenly Ape King Island and sneak into their Heavenly Ape King Island quietly. In this way, from now on, everyone on their Heavenly Ape King Island will be in danger. Even he will not sleep well. At the same time, everyone else was shocked and looked into the distance. Even Ho Jun, who had just scolded Chen Ronghuo and was furious by Chen Ronghuo, was no exception. In his opinion, although Chen Ronghuo offended him, no matter what, Chen Ronghuo was just a pawn. Compared with the matter related to the safety of the Heavenly Ape King Island, Chen Ronghuo is not worth mentioning at all. No. Suddenly, When the heavenly ape king set his eyes on the disaster clone in the distance, his brows frowned. He suddenly discovered that the seemingly terrifying monster was actually only in the middle stage of the 8th level. Since it was not this monster, then where was the person identified by the Giantian Zoo? Could it be that the person who had hidden before had returned again? The Sky Ape King turned his head to look outside the Sky Ape Demon subduing formation, but found nothing. The destructive power of a monster in the middle stage of the 8th order was also amazing. But for the Sky Ape King, it was nothing. At this time, Chen Ronghuo's eyes also glanced into the distance. Because he did not dare to reveal all his cultivation at the beginning, the disaster clone he created was indeed only in the middle stage of the 8th order. Otherwise, with his current cultivation, it is not impossible to create a real disaster clone in the late 9th order. So, the late 9th order cultivator detected by the Giantian Zoo was not the disaster clone in the distance, but himself. At this time, he had transferred all the power in his original body to his clone again. Shaking his head, Chen Ronghuo retracted his gaze and fell on Ho San, his lips moving slightly. Whoosh! The next moment, Ho San, who was guided by Chen Ronghuo, did not hesitate and immediately turned into a stream of light, rushed out from the side of the Sky Ape King and came to the side of Chen Ronghuo. Ho San, what are you doing? Suddenly, everyone in the field sensed something was wrong, and turned their heads to look at Ho San. Among them, the Sky Ape King's eyes were particularly sharp. However, he only glanced at Ho San, and then his eyes fell on Chen Ronghuo. At this time, the aura emanating from Chen Ronghuo was completely different from before. Chen Ronghuo chuckled, spread a pair of huge magic wings behind him, pulled Ho San, and changed into his original appearance while flapping backwards, looking at Ho Jun. Why, Ho Jun, you don't recognize me after just a few decades of not seeing each other. In an instant, Ho Jun's pupils shrank, as if he had seen the most incredible thing. Chen. Wrong. Huo. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 480. At this moment, Ho Jun finally recognized Chen Ronghuo. Compared with decades ago, Chen Ronghuo today is no longer a humble man. Decades ago, he went to Hexi Island and forcibly took Ho San away, not taking Chen Ronghuo seriously at all. After taking Ho San away, he asked the Black Dragon Duke to take care of Chen Ronghuo, and he was completely condescending, thinking that Chen Ronghuo had gotten a great bargain. But this time, or when Chen Ronghuo showed his prowess, took over the White Tiger Island and the Black Dragon Island, and killed 2 high-level envoys of the 9th level of the Temple of Slaughter, he knew that he had made a mistake. At that time, Chen Ronghuo was no longer a bug, but a latent dragon, but he didn't see it. All the impressions of Chen Ronghuo in his heart in the past came together at this moment, but it made Ho Jun's eyes reveal confusion and a vague fear. It was not until now that he realized that he had underestimated Chen Ronghuo before. This is the Heavenly Ape King Island. Even those demigod-level masters couldn't sneak in quietly. But now, Chen Ronghuo did it? Ho Jun felt incredible, wondering how Chen Ronghuo could sneak in with his cultivation. Chen Ronghuo flapped his 2 pairs of black magic wings at a very fast speed, and in the blink of an eye, he pulled Ho San and flew a long distance. At this time, the Sky Ape King finally reacted. His eyes were wide open, and blood red appeared. His whole body exuded a violent aura, like a sleeping giant ape, which was about to explode after being awakened. You seek death. Suddenly, the Sky Ape King spoke word by word, 3 words in a row, and when he spoke, his body grew rapidly, and it grew to dozens of meters high in the blink of an eye, and raised his hand to clench his fist and punched out. The huge momentum gathered on his punch, making this punch like light and shadow continue to enlarge and hit Chen Ronghuo fiercely. It was like a fierce god holding up the sky, coming from the ancient times, raging wildly. No one had ever dared to tease him like this, dared to play this kind of game in front of him. If he let Chen Ronghuo go this time, he would really lose face. His old nest was broken into, and he didn't notice it. Not only that, his men were robbed in front of him. If this was spread out, I'm afraid that the people of the entire North Sea would laugh at him in secret. He has lived for so long, and he has never lost face like this. Nonsense. Talk. Continuous. Chapter. Chen Ronghuo sneered, and gave the Sky Ape King a single word for consecutive, dancing his magic wings, and speeding up again. Boom. The light and shadow of the Sky Ape King's Sky Ape Demon Fist hit hard, stirring the air, and rushed to Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo stretched out his hands, gathered his strength, and performed the magic transformation technique of unity. He faintly condensed his hands into a huge tiger, and collided with the Sky Ape King's attack. After a loud bang, the huge tiger condensed by Chen Ronghuo exploded first. However, after the huge tiger exploded, the light and shadow Heavenly Ape Demon Fist of the Heavenly Ape King also dispersed a lot, and its power was greatly reduced. Whoosh! Chen Ronghuo's figure flashed quickly, and with the power of the Heavenly Ape King's attack, he quickly retreated in the shock force, and his magic wings flapped like a black butterfly. As for the light and shadow Heavenly Demon Fist of the Heavenly Ape King, which had dispersed a lot, he couldn't catch up with him at all. Heavenly Ape King, I will remember that you have imprisoned my men on the Heavenly Ape King Island. You don't need to see me off. I look forward to seeing you next time. At the same time, Chen Ronghuo's faint voice also rang. Want to leave? The Heavenly Ape King looked cold, took a big step, and chased Chen Ronghuo. I want to see what means you used to escape from my Heavenly Ape King Island. At this time, the island protection formation of the Heavenly Ape King Island was still open, and the Heavenly Ape King couldn't think of any way for Chen Ronghuo to escape from here. He increased his speed and quickly chased after Chen Ronghuo. With the power of burning faith, his speed was definitely faster than Chen Ronghuo. However, because Chen Ronghuo used the disaster clone to attract the attention of the Sky Ape King at the beginning, and just now he used the Sky Ape King's attack to speed up his escape, the Sky Ape King was finally left behind by Chen Ronghuo for a certain distance. Ho-san, who was flying fast with Chen Ronghuo, felt the speed of the Sky Ape King's pursuit and his brows were tightly knitted. The Sky Ape King was too strong. Although he had broken through to the 9th level, he did not have the slightest confidence in facing the Sky Ape King. He estimated that with his own strength, he would probably be defeated by the Sky Ape King in a few moves. But he believed in Chen Ronghuo. He believed that since Chen Ronghuo came to save him, he must have a certain confidence to leave here. Thinking of this, he turned his head and felt the powerful aura released from Chen Ronghuo, and couldn't help but sigh. In the past few decades, he has hardly been idle. With the help of the original blood pool in the Sky Ape territory, he has spent all his time on cultivation. He thought that it was fast enough for him to break through to the 9th level in a few decades, but he didn't expect that Chen Ronghuo's cultivation speed was even faster than his. However, he was relieved when he thought of the many backgrounds of the river crab territory. Whoosh! Whoosh! Chen Ronghuo and the Sky Ape King flew across the sky one after the other. Pass the order down, and use all your strength to activate the Sky Ape Subduing Demon Formation. The Sky Ape King shouted at the same time. The Sky Ape Subduing Demon Formation is an automatically activated formation, but after the formation is activated, it can be activated by practitioners to exert a stronger power. Roar! 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 As the Sky Ape King gave the order, the practitioners on the Sky Ape King Island immediately began to use all their strength to activate the Sky Ape Demon Subduing Formation. As the formation was activated with all its strength, there were ape howls from all directions, as if they wanted to stop Chen Ronghuo here. The Sky Ape King stared at Chen Ronghuo closely. It seemed that he wanted to see how Chen Ronghuo would escape from his net. At this time, Chen Ronghuo had brought Ho-san to the sky above the Dali Ape Island where he had first arrived. Dali Ape Island was already the outermost island of the Sky Ape Islands. After arriving above Dali Ape Island, Chen Ronghuo landed on the island with a thought, and instantly blasted a huge building and came to an altar. This altar was one of the formation bases of the Sky Ape Demon Subduing Formation. Want to destroy my Heavenly Ape Demon Ape Formation? The Heavenly Ape King sneered when he saw this scene. It's just wishful thinking. The materials used to build this altar are extremely solid, and with the protection of the formation, when the Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation is activated, even a demigod-level strongman can't think of breaking this formation base in a short time. After seeing that Chen Ronghuo actually wanted to escape from the Heavenly Ape Island in this way, the Heavenly Ape King had sentenced Chen Ronghuo to death. But he was a little confused because he didn't know where the men he arranged to guard this place had gone. Snap! At this moment, as Chen Ronghuo landed on the altar below and stretched out his left hand to pat, a direction of the Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation in the distance suddenly became scattered, and a flaw appeared, revealing a passage. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 481. The Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation is a large formation composed of a number of small formations. The breaking of one formation will not affect the operation of other formations. How could it be? When the Heavenly Ape King saw that Chen Ronghuo casually slapped the Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation in the distance, a gap appeared on his face, and he was shocked. It was probably difficult for even a true god-level strongman to break the Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation with just one palm. The most important thing was that after Chen Ronghuo's palm landed on the altar formation base, the formation base looked intact, which was even more incredible. On the Great Ape Island, after Chen Ronghuo took back all the attributes that he had touched from the formation base in advance, he did not leave immediately. Instead, after glancing at the Heavenly Ape Subduing Demon Formation that had a gap in the distance, he waved his hand and returned all the attributes that he had just touched from the formation base. As these attributes were returned, the distant Sky Ape Subduing Demon Formation suddenly vibrated, and the gap that had been revealed was quickly repaired in the flash of spiritual light. This repair was obviously slower than the speed at which the gap was revealed just now. But this was exactly what Chen Ronghuo needed. Whoosh! Seeing this scene, Chen Ronghuo had an idea, and with Ho-san, he rushed to the gap that was being repaired quickly but still needed to be repaired. This is impossible. The Sky Ape King, who followed closely behind, suddenly widened his eyes, full of incredible looks. Chen Ronghuo's two strange operations had completely lowered his IQ. He felt like he was dreaming today. The Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation is the island-suppressing formation of the Heavenly Ape King Island. It is well known throughout the North Sea and is known as one of the 10 great formations in the North Sea. However, today, Chen Ronghuo fiddled with this formation like a toy, which really made him dizzy. Whoosh! At this time, Chen Ronghuo flashed and rushed out of the Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation, which had only a small gap left, like a black magic light. As soon as Chen Ronghuo left the Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation, the Heavenly Ape King caught up from behind. However, the Heavenly Ape King who caught up could only watch the distance between Chen Ronghuo and him getting farther and farther. Because at this time, he was blocked by the Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation. Being blocked by his own formation was simply a joke. The Heavenly Ape King showed an extremely tyrannical look on his face. He flipped his hand and took out a black token, wanting to activate it, but in the end, he hesitated. This token is the token that controls the Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation. If he activated it, he could open a passage in a breath and rush out of the Heavenly Ape Demon Subduing Formation. But after a breath, even if he rushed out of the heavenly ape demon subduing formation, Chen Ronghuo would probably have escaped far away. Especially after Chen Ronghuo escaped from the heavenly ape demon subduing formation, he had faintly felt the breath of a 9th level cultivator surging in the distance, and it was obvious that someone was waiting for Chen Ronghuo. Don't be rash. In the end, the heavenly ape king still didn't dare to rush out of the heavenly ape demon subduing formation to chase and kill Chen Ronghuo. The fall of the white dragon king made him extremely vigilant. He was worried that Chen Ronghuo's rescue of Ho San this time was simply a trap. The purpose of the trap was to lure him out of the heavenly ape demon subduing formation and kill him. He could burn the power of faith near the heavenly ape king island and exert stronger strength, but he left the heavenly ape demon subduing formation and couldn't burn the power of faith again. Chen Ronghuo. The heavenly ape king stood in the heavenly ape demon subduing formation, watching Chen Ronghuo's gradually disappearing figure, with murderous aura raging in his eyes. Although he had discussed with Shi Wuxin and others before, using the river crab leader and Chen Ronghuo as bait to drive the Temple of Slaughter out of the North Sea. But he never thought that before they could take action, Chen Ronghuo would actually come to provoke their heavenly ape king island first. I hope the Temple of Slaughter can take action earlier. The eyes of the heavenly ape king were full of blood. Now they are ready, just waiting for the Temple of Slaughter to find Chen Ronghuo, then contact Shi Wuxin, open the ancient seal, and release the ancient Yinshui corpse with the 10th level cultivation. After Chen Ronghuo took Ho San away from the heavenly ape islands, he looked back and was relieved when he saw that the heavenly ape king did not chase him. Now he has not yet taken down the heavenly ape king's strength, so if possible, he is actually not willing to confront the heavenly ape king head-on at this time. Whoosh! Thinking so in his heart, Chen Ronghuo communicated with Ho San while flying quickly to the river crab island. On the way, he met the black whale ancestor and immediately took him with him. After the retreat ended, he had helped the black whale ancestor solve the problems in his body and perfected the ancient giant whale technique, so that the black whale ancestor could transform into a human form at any time and perform the ancient giant whale technique every once in a while. In other words, the giant whale ancestor can now be used as a 9th level late stage cultivator at critical moments. Soon, Chen Ronghuo took Ho San and the black whale ancestor back to the crab territory. With his current strength, it was too fast to return to the crab territory from the Sky Ape King Island. Sky Ape King, what's going on? Who just attacked your Sky Ape Island? Not long after Chen Ronghuo left the Sky Ape King Island, a group of figures rushed to the Sky Ape King Island. These people were the people who came to support from other islands. It's Chen Ronghuo, he. The Sky Ape King directly exposed Chen Ronghuo and told him about the ability that Chen Ronghuo showed this time. Demigod level? Chen Ronghuo actually has the strength of a demigod level. Incredible, how did he sneak into the Sky Ape King Island and how did he control the island suppressing formation of the Sky Ape King Island? As the Sky Ape King revealed the information, everyone immediately showed an incredible look. When they learned that the strength that Chen Ronghuo showed this time had actually increased by 1 level, everyone frowned. At the beginning, the White Tiger Island and the Crab Island were enemies, thinking that Chen Ronghuo only had the 8th level of cultivation, so the subordinates of the White Tiger Island were defeated by Chen Ronghuo, and even the White Tiger Grand Duke was defeated by Chen Ronghuo. Then, when others thought that Chen Ronghuo had the strength of the late 9th level, Chen Ronghuo showed the strength of the peak 9th level, took down the Black Dragon Island, took down the Black Whale Ancestor, and even took his subordinates to kill 2 high-level gods of the Slaughter God Temple at the peak of the 9th level. And now, when everyone thought that Chen Ronghuo's strength was at the peak of the 9th level, he inexplicably sneaked into the Heavenly Ape King Island, fought with the Heavenly Ape King, easily took it, showed the strength of a demigod, and left. That Chen Ronghuo, he shouldn't be hiding his strength until now, right? Some people suddenly felt a chill in their hearts. I really felt that I couldn't see Chen Ronghuo clearly. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 482. Demigod. Then Chen Ronghuo is a demigod-level warrior. When the news that Chen Ronghuo sneaked into Tianyuan King Island and took Ho San away from Tianyuan King Island reached Bei Tianyuan on Aurora King Island, Bei Tianyuan's face immediately showed astonishment and fear. When Chen Ronghuo captured and killed the White Tiger Grand Duke, he had a conflict with Chen Ronghuo. Now thinking about it, he was really too bold at that time. The other people on Aurora King Island also showed the same expression. Before, they were still indignant that Chen Ronghuo killed two high-level gods of the Slaughter God Temple and ran to their doorstep to use the deterrent power of their Aurora King Island to prevent the revenge of the Slaughter God Temple. They wanted to encourage the Aurora King to take action and capture the Crab Island. But this time, after learning about Chen Ronghuo's strength, none of them had such an idea. That was a demigod-level warrior of the same level as their lord. Going to war with such a strong man, even if they are 9th-level practitioners, they may die. Not to mention that there are terrifying beings like the Temple of Killing God and the Mother of Gatuo Snake waiting outside. Even after knowing Chen Ronghuo's strength, some people on Aurora Island felt a little relieved, thinking that Chen Ronghuo has such strength and is so close to their Aurora King Island, even if the Temple of Killing God and the Mother of Gatuo Snake are fierce, they should not dare to trouble them next time. Demigod. In the depths of the North Sea, in a palace of oppression, a woman shrouded in a black robe, while refining the blood-red energy flowing into her body, muttered to herself. She can kill a demigod. But if this demigod burns the power of faith, it will not be easy for her to kill him alone. And now Chen Ronghuo has shown his demigod-level strength on the Sky Ape King Island, which immediately stranded her plan. I didn't expect that after more than 50 years of absence, the Crab Island has changed so much. At the same time, Ho San, who returned to the Crab World, stood in the square of the Lord Chen Ronghuo's mansion, looking at the Origin Mother tree not far away, with a slight bitter smile on his face. Beside him, Wang Chao, Zhang Ji and others were telling him about the development of the Crab Island over the years. Ho San originally thought that he had cultivated to the 9th level in more than 50 years, and after returning to the Crab Island, he would be able to open up new territory for the Crab Island and assist Chen Ronghuo in further expanding the Crab Island. However, he did not expect that the Crab Island has now taken over the White Tiger Island and the Black Dragon Island. Even the Aurora King Island could not do anything to the Crab Island. However, when Ho San thought of Chen Ronghuo sneaking into the Sky Ape King Island, bringing him back, and leaving the Sky Ape King helpless, he was relieved. The land of Demon Sealing, the territory of 100 barbarians, and the Black Mountains. After rescuing Ho San back to the territory, Chen Ronghuo came here as soon as possible, intending to bring Huanglin back to the territory as well. With the current strength of the Big River Crab, Chen Ronghuo does not need to rush to the Shenyang territory first and then rush here through the teleportation array, but can directly open a space channel to send him here. Chen Ronghuo hid his figure and flew into the sky, and his eyes fell on the center of the Black Mountain Range. The gray-white strange palace, half of which was on the ground and half of which should be located underground like a closed city. Cursed Temple, the branch temple of the fallen curse god Wu Ming in the Baiman territory. Simplified version of the god trapping array, it can trap practitioners below the late 9th level. After identifying the large array covering the outside of the cursed temple, Chen Ronghuo's eyebrows were raised. The last time he identified it, the god trapping array covering the cursed temple could only trap practitioners below the peak of the 8th level, but he did not expect that the array would change this time. Chen Ronghuo narrowed his eyes, knowing that something must have happened here in these years. Boom! Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo looked up and saw a huge spirit boat flying in the distance. After the spirit boat arrived and stopped above the god trapping array in the distance, several figures moved, flew down from the spirit boat, and landed in front of the god trapping array. Chen Ronghuo's heart moved, and he looked at the black-clothed old man who was the leader of the group. The old man walked with the wind, and had a master's demeanor. Just one look at him showed that he was extraordinary. Wu Yuyun, 9th level peak formation master. Qualification, 9. Identity, senior elder of the plague god Tianzong. Chen Ronghuo watched the plague god Tianzong elder named Wu Yuyun walk into the god trapping array, and after a moment of silence, he began to use ancient books to deduce the cause of the change here, so as to know himself and the enemy, just in case. After a while, Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed, and he already knew why the formation here had changed. After learning the cause of the incident, Chen Ronghuo snorted coldly, no longer hesitated, and immediately turned into a stream of light, and walked straight to the simplified version of the god trapping array in the distance. His current cultivation level is just the late 9th level. But this simplified version of the god trapping array can trap ordinary late 9th level practitioners, but not him. In the god trapping array, as Wu Yuyun came in, the disciples of the plague god Tianzong who were maintaining the god trapping array inside suddenly talked about it. I heard before that the Holy Sun was angry and said that he wanted to break through the defense formation of this hall as soon as possible. I didn't expect that he would invite Elder Wu today. With Elder Wu's action, the guy named Huanglin is bound to die this time. This Huanglin is also powerful. When he was trapped here by us, his strength was only about the 8th level. I didn't expect that he has reached the 9th level now. I heard that he got a powerful secret treasure in this cursed temple, and his strength grew so fast. But after we break through the defense here and take him down, if he gets the secret treasure, he will belong to our god of plague heaven. The clan is all gone. How can we kill him so easily? He tried to escape from here before and killed so many of us. This time, when Elder Wu breaks through the defensive formation of this cursed temple, he must be given a taste of all the heart-gnawing poisons. The taste. At this time, Wu Yuyun, who had just entered here, had already met a late 9th level cultivator who was guarding the place, and came to a closed hall. Elder Wu, this is it. The late 9th level cultivator who was sitting here said, this hall is the core of this cursed temple. Even if the defense has been greatly weakened after so many years, it will be difficult for us to break through. It's just that Huanglin was lucky. He found a jade talisman to control this cursed temple somewhere, and he was able to enter and exit the place at will, so we were very passive. Rest assured. Wu Yuyun nodded when he heard the words. His eyes fell on the door of the main hall in the distance, his eyes flickered, he was obviously observing the formation restrictions here through the secret technique in his eyes. This is a god-level residual formation that has been destroyed by the passage of time. If it is a complete god-level formation, there is nothing I can do about it, but if it is just a residual formation, give me 10 days and I can. Boom. Suddenly, in the middle of Wu Yuyun's words, the entire hall suddenly shook, as if it had been stepped on by a huge giant. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 483. A huge roar sounded, as if the sky collapsed and the vibration continued. In an instant, everyone in the god-trapping array showed a look of horror. What's going on? Did Elder Wu break the formation of the main hall as soon as he arrived? No, this movement clearly came from outside, someone is attacking the god-trapping array. Now the entire Baiman territory has been occupied by my plague god Tianzong. Who is so bold to come here to make trouble? Don't waste time, stabilize the formation quickly, the person coming is very powerful and difficult to deal with. As the ground shook violently, the disciples of the plague god Tianzong in the god-trapping array felt incredible. The Baiman territory ranks low among the 106 territories in the sealed demon land. It is not the opponent of their plague god Tianzong at all. It has long been completely controlled by their plague god Tianzong. In recent years, few people have dared to provoke their plague god Tianzong in the Baiman territory. Especially those top powerhouses, they are more self-aware. Something is not right. In front of the main hall at the core of the god-trapping array, Wu Yuyun, who had just arrived, and an ugly 9th-level late-stage elder from the plague god sect, all raised their heads and looked out through the god-trapping array. Among them, Wu Yuyun reacted very quickly. He shouted with a sudden expression, "Quickly stabilize the array, the enemy is a demigod." Demigod. The Holy Sun once said to be careful of outsiders coming to rescue Xuanhuan, but he didn't say that the person coming has demigod-level strength. The ugly elder's face changed immediately, and his heart almost rose to his throat. Wu Yuyun did not answer, but flashed to the core of the array, waved his sleeves, swept away the people here, and took over the main control of the god-trapping array. There are many kinds of arrays. Some arrays can only be controlled by one person, and some arrays can be controlled by multiple people. The god-trapping array is the kind of array that can be controlled by multiple people. At the same time, whether the formation is strong or not is not only related to the level of the formation itself, but also to the strength of the controller of the formation. Although the main function of this simplified version of the god-trapping formation is to trap the enemy, and although it can only trap cultivators below the late 9th level at most, after Wu Yuyun took over it, the entire formation changed immediately. It was like a young dragon, which grew up quickly after the baptism of time and became a real dragon with great power. Outside the god-trapping formation, Chen Ronghuo stood quietly in the void, just stretched out his finger and pointed at the god-trapping formation. The naked eye can see that as he pointed out, a large amount of spiritual energy from the heaven and earth immediately gathered in front of his white finger, and after transformation, it formed an extremely huge black finger. The fingerprints of this finger are clear, as if it is the finger of a demon god. As Chen Ronghuo's mind moved, he pressed his finger downward, and suddenly there was a sound of wind and thunder, and it fell down with his finger rumbling. At this time, the god-trapping array was already at full power. Even if they were thousands of miles apart, they could still feel the evil spirit in the formation. The rolling evil spirit condensed into 36 blood-colored formation flags, which shook together, creating a powerful spiritual energy vortex, and greeted Chen Ronghuo's finger. Boom! The two collided with each other, making a roar, and then the next moment, Chen Ronghuo's huge finger, like a dead tree and rotten wood, defeated the spiritual energy vortex shaken by the 36 blood-colored formation flags in one fell swoop. Then his condensed black spiritual energy finger continued to fall and stabbed the god-trapping array fiercely. The light curtain of the formation constructed by the god-trapping array flashed, and countless fine lines emerged from it, as if it could not withstand such an attack and was about to explode. Inside the god-trapping array, Wu Yuyun's face turned red. He had already used all his strength to activate the formation, and blood seemed to be oozing out of his face. Behind him, the somewhat ugly plague god Tianzong 9th level late elder was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot. Elder Wu, if this man dares to attack the god-trapping array, there will definitely be a huge noise. I believe that the strong men of our plague god Tianzong must be on their way. When the strong men of our plague god Tianzong arrive, he will definitely not be a match. What he meant was that he wanted Wu Yuyun to hold on for a while. As a 9th level late cultivator, his strength can't be said to be weak. However, the words strong and weak are always relative. Facing a strong man like Chen Ronghuo who has the strength of a demigod, a 9th level late cultivator is like a dog trying to compete with a tiger for food. I can't hold on anymore. Wu Yuyun looked grim. This man is not only a demigod, but also knows a lot about the god-trapping array. He may also be a master of formations. The finger he just used attacked the weak point of the god-trapping array. If he uses this finger again, the god-trapping array will boom. Outside the god-trapping array, when Wu Yuyun was trembling in his heart, Chen Ronghuo shook his head slightly after failing to break the god-trapping array with one finger, bent his finger, and then pressed down with another finger, flowing like a god descending to punish the evil demons with irresistible power. Whoosh whoosh. The 36 blood-colored flags below were shaking wildly, and this time a blood-colored terrifying monster was shaken out. However, after the monster touched Chen Ronghuo's finger, it trembled slightly and followed the footsteps of the previous spiritual energy vortex. Ka. Ka. Then Chen Ronghuo's finger continued to fall, and once again touched the light curtain of the god-trapping array with flashing spiritual light. This time, just as the fine lines appeared on the light curtain of the god-trapping array, a crackling sound was heard, and then under the huge pressure of Chen Ronghuo's finger, the whole thing broke apart with a pop. Ah! The god-trapping array was broken, and countless disciples of the plague god Tianzong in the god-trapping array were affected by the residual power of Chen Ronghuo's finger just now, and died. After breaking the god-trapping array, Chen Ronghuo ignored the other disciples of the plague god Tianzong who had escaped from his attack just now, but immediately set his sights on Wu Yuyun and the somewhat ugly plague god Tianzong, elder of the 9th stage. One is at the peak of the 9th stage, and the other is at the 9th stage. Chen Ronghuo muttered to himself, and the next moment, a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. When his body fell, with a bang, he fully opened his momentum, stretched out a big hand, and hit the two people directly. Black and red flames appeared from Chen Ronghuo's big hand, burning fiercely, like a strange and huge fire cloud, covering the sky, with endless power, covering Wu Yuyun and the other two. The two people's faces changed drastically. The power of the semi-god level strongman was completely irresistible to them. Especially for the elder in the late 9th level. He yelled madly, "Who are you? The leader of our plague god Tianzong must be on the way." "I know, but when your leader arrives, you will be dead." Chen Ronghuo smiled and his big hand fell mercilessly. Boom boom boom. Wu Yuyun and the other two joined forces and struggled frantically under Chen Ronghuo's big hand, but Chen Ronghuo's big hand kept rising and falling, and formed a strong pulling force to prevent the two from escaping, making them both look desperate. Finally, after Chen Ronghuo's big hand fell dozens of times, the two could no longer hold on, and both died. Kaka. As soon as the two died, the main hall of the cursed temple below opened spontaneously, and a figure walked out of it. Lord. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 484. Decades ago, Huanglin followed the map given to him by Chen Ronghuo and came to the cursed temple alone, wanting to get the dagger of the previous generation of Mongadu Black Emperor Snake. After coming here, he got a control jade talisman that could control this cursed temple by chance. At the same time, he also got what he wanted and got the dagger of the Mongadu Black Emperor Snake that was left in the cursed temple. This dagger is considered to be the inherited dagger of the Mongadu Black Emperor Snake lineage. The inheritor of the Mongadu Black Emperor Snake who holds this dagger can not only greatly increase his strength, but also increase his cultivation speed. However, after Huanglin obtained the dagger, he was about to leave when he ran into Zhou Yuanhua, the former lord of Greenwater Bay Town who had fled from Beiwu Island to the Baiman territory. Zhou Yuanhua not only had a surge in strength, but also had many subordinates beside him. Huanglin was defeated and could only use the control jade talisman of this cursed temple to hide in the main temple. And he hid for decades. Not long ago, he broke through to the 9th level and felt that he should be able to escape from here. He tried to fight his way out of here, but was eventually stopped by the help from the plague god Tianzong, forcing him to return to the main hall of the cursed temple. He knew that he failed to escape last time, and it would be even more difficult next time. It might even stimulate Zhou Yuanhua to break the cursed temple at all costs and kill him, so he was already desperate. The fierce battle fluctuations coming from outside the cursed temple this time quickly attracted his attention, but at the beginning, he thought it was Xuanhuan trying to lure him out, so he ignored it. Until just now, Chen Ronghuo killed Wu Yuyun and the ugly plague god Tianzhong 9th level late elder who was sitting here before, and appeared. Huanglin was shocked to know that it was Chen Ronghuo who came to save him this time. "Thank you, Lord, for coming to save me." Huanglin bowed to Chen Ronghuo. Huanglin, 9th level early stage. Qualification, 10. Inheritor of the Mangadu Black Emperor Snake. Loyalty, 95, rising. "I'm glad you're okay." After Chen Ronghuo identified Huanglin's attributes, he looked at Huanglin and sighed slightly. When he first came to this world, Huanglin obtained the inheritance of the Mangadu Black Emperor Snake with his assistance, and his strength was strong, and he made many great contributions to him. At the beginning, Chen Ronghuo helped Huanglin just to gain a foothold in this world, but after years of getting along, the two of them already had a kind of friendship that seemed like a monarch and a minister. However, this time Huanglin was trapped in the cursed temple for many years, and he did not come to save him, which eventually reduced Huanglin's loyalty to him by a few points. Of course, Chen Ronghuo would not have any grudges in his heart. Since ancient times, human hearts have been the most difficult to figure out. After so many years, Huanglin's loyalty to him can still be maintained above 95 points, which is quite rare. Boom! Suddenly, there was a sound of thunder. Chen Ronghuo turned his head and saw the grey cloud of the god of plague covering the sky and the sun in the distance, as if it was going to cover the whole world, rolling towards here. In the center of the thick and endless cloud of the god of plague, Chen Ronghuo felt a strong threat coming, as if there was a powerful existence that could threaten him. It really deserves to be the god of plague sect, one of the two major sects under the Black Demon Palace. Chen Ronghuo's eyes showed a trace of solemnity, looking at Huanglin and said, "It is not suitable to stay here for a long time, let's leave here immediately." As he spoke, Chen Ronghuo took out a black and white world talisman, tore it open, and turned into a two-world portal in front of him. Huanglin's eyes flashed with light. After so many years, he can finally return to the crab territory. In fact, he also had a few two-world talismans in his hand, but the two-world talismans in his hand were made by the big river crab many years ago and can only be used in the Shenyang territory. It is not possible to use them in the Baiman territory. That is why he has been trapped here for so many years. Whoosh! After opening the two-world portal, Chen Ronghuo asked Huanglin to return to the river crab world through the two-world portal first, and he stood in front of the portal and looked back. 10th level Plague God Domain, released by the resurrected Plague God, it can condense endless Plague God beasts in the domain to attack the enemy, and even infect the enemy into a Plague Beast, and at the same time can also amplify the power of the Plague Attribute secret technique. Note: the Plague God is a half-step pillar God level general under the Lord of the Black Demon, and is in charge of the Plague God Tianzhong. 10th level. After identifying the attributes of the huge disaster cloud in the distance, Chen Ronghuo paused in place, and then moved his body, passed through the two-world portal, and returned to the river crab world. When Chen Ronghuo looked back, in the rolling plague clouds, a figure who looked 8 points similar to Zhou Yuanhua, who had fled from Beiwu Island to the sealed demon land, followed a figure covered in a grey cloak and was looking far away in the direction of the cursed temple. His eyes happened to meet Chen Ronghuo's. When he saw Chen Ronghuo, his eyes flashed, as if he was a little surprised, but then he seemed to have a few extra fun. Boom! One day, not long after Chen Ronghuo brought Huanglin back to the river crab world, the big river crab lying in the sea suddenly moved and suddenly became countless times smaller. After it changed to a size of tens of meters, a figure flashed and landed on its back. It was Chen Ronghuo. "Master, I succeeded." The big river crab waved its two claws and knocked them together, making a crackling sound, and seemed quite excited. Big is fun. But it is too big, so it sometimes wonders what it would be like to be smaller. And now, it finally got what it wanted. Yeah. Chen Ronghuo nodded. After practicing for so long, the big river crab finally practiced the secret art of big and small. This is actually a more popular secret art, but the difficulty of practicing is different for different sizes of life. For a life like the big river crab, which is so huge that it is unimaginable, it is also unimaginable how difficult it is to practice this secret art. Fortunately, the big river crab has outstanding talent, and Chen Ronghuo supplies it with the power of faith purified by the black dog without regard for the loss, so it can successfully practice the secret art in such a short time. Let's go. Chen Ronghuo stepped on the back of the big river crab, added his own power to the back of the big river crab, and drove it to rush quickly to the deep blue sea where it had stayed before, while hiding his figure and erasing all his breath. What's going on? Is the river crab leader leaving? Because the river crab leader is too close to the Aurora King Island, the Aurora King Island sends people to observe the river crab leader's every move every day. At this time, the people of the Aurora King Island saw that the big river crab disappeared out of thin air. The person in charge of this matter did not dare to neglect it and hurriedly reported it to the top leaders. But when the top leaders of the Aurora King Island learned about it, the figure of the river crab leader had already disappeared. Now we can finally release the energy accumulated by the Origin Mother Tree and open the Law Tide. In the deep blue sea, Chen Ronghuo muttered to himself, and then the big river crab under his feet moved its body, broke through a different dimension in the rotation, and flew in. This different dimension is the one left by the side branch of the Zhen family. After entering this moving space, the big river crab's body suddenly shrank again, and then drilled into a black hole that appeared out of thin air, and disappeared. This time, it entered the river crab world.